I really hope you're doing that as soon as this goes live.
Right? I hope that's what the first thing that people see when they're in the live stream.
I
Hello,
really
everyone.
Oh, I just got my little feedback. Why am I getting feedback? I don't want feedback. Go away.
Ooh, are we muted?
I am, yes. Okay, good. All of a sudden I heard my own voice and I got spooked.
You're like, my goodness.
That was one of those weird, I mean, you don't want your internal, I don't know. Hey, 6 people are already watching. That's kind of cool.
Hey. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Romantics at Heart live stream discussion of Slave to Sensation by Nalini Singh. How are we? Are we having a wonderful day? This is seriously the best part of my day.
I mean, you've already, because you read this prior to
yeah, this like 2 months ago, and then I went through it today just as a refresher and to get like quotes and fun stuff to tweet about and that kind of stuff. So because like yeah, I read it 2 months ago, but I read a lot, so there's been a lot of books in between that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm one of the, I read it, I think yesterday or the day before, because again, I read so quickly. I always want things fresh in my mind for a live stream or something, because otherwise there's going to be multiple books in between when I read that book and the live stream, and all the characters are going to get jumbled.
Absolutely. So we got some comments. Jay-Z, hi, how are you? And Lady Gizmo, hi, how are you? Who's read the book?
I know Jay-Z has. I know she loves this series. I retweeted her. I know she is a very big fan of Nalini Singh. I know she loves this series, so shout out right there. And I know you love this series. How many books are you in now? How many have you?
Just 2.
2, okay.
Yeah, just 2. I'm hoping to read the third one here, either coming up this month, and so hopefully, because I really do enjoy this series. This series is
because I think I read it way out of order. I think I read 2 or 3 from the series, but not sequentially. I was reading for either a trope or a certain situation or something, and so that deterred. that was not the best. But I'm really happy to be reading the first book in this series now, because I think so much more makes sense and is falling into place. I'm like, wait a second. She was the victim in the first one. That is why she has PTSD. And when I read the third one, I think it was the ice one. That was the one I think I started with. Yeah. So I kind of got introduced to her. What is her name? Brianna.
Uh-huh.
So I got the first book. Now you get to learn the world of Psy and the changelings, and you're learning the parameters and what's good, what's bad, what sides go, you're learning all intricate details. There's a lot of world building to this.
There is. Like when I first read the synopsis of this book, I fell in love with the premise. I'm like, this is awesome. If you've never seen the movie Equilibrium, it's kind of like that, where they're like shutting off their emotions to create a better society. And so the premise I just thought was number one for me, because it just seemed so interesting. And then of course, when I read it, I immediately fell in love. I absolutely love this book. What did we star rating? Do we want to start there? Do we want to start with star ratings? Do we want to just jump right into it and get started?
Sure. I mean, I feel as if this is one of those books where it's, if people haven't read it, it's going to be very difficult to explain things. I mean, hopefully you have read it. If people tune in and watch, I mean, if you haven't, hopefully you can ask questions that we can easily answer, because I do feel as if there are details to this. There's definitely some rules to the changelings and the Psy world. So I don't know how much background context is necessary to provide insight into what we're talking about. So hopefully people have read it. I think that would make things a little easier.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you said, definitely a lot of world building going on in this book. But I ended up giving it 4 stars, 4 out of 5 stars. So
that's where I kind of fell with it as well. I think I was giving it like a solid 4.
Oh yeah, solid. I don't know, like rereading it a second time, I was like, man, I love them. I love them so much. Lucas, I love him. He's great. He creates the presence of the strong alpha character, because he is the alpha, of his pack, and he does, maintain that persona, pretty well. But he's also really, really sweet on our heroine. So Sascha and I love her too. She's fantastic. So,
I mean, so I liked him. I didn't love him. Like, he's not my new book boyfriend. He's not my literary husband. Like, I could read him now. He wasn't annoying or frustrating or something. I mean, I could read him, but I wasn't in love with him. Where certain characters I'm going, oh, he's so swoon-worthy. Like Archer, I would marry him. Like, I just love Archer Hale from Archer's Voice. I just love him. He's my favorite to date that we've read so far. I wasn't really feeling that with Lucas a little bit. I mean, this is my own little, kind of bugaboo as a reader, but I don't need to consistently know about your past relationships. I thought that was reiterated a little too frequently for me. I mean, I get he had a past before he met her, that was alluded to, I get it, but I didn't need to read, every chapter when he was starting. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I totally understand what you get. Like, now it's like, this is your story. Can you stop, thinking about the other stuff?
I mean, again, it wasn't this is kind of a nitpicky thing for me, but again, she's very innocent, very unaware. And so when they start talking about his past frequently, I'm going, okay, can we move forward now? Because we know she's the maid, we know she's the one. So can we just focus on her now?
Yeah. Completely agree with you. I really, really enjoy Sascha. She does like the turmoil, like the internal turmoil very well.
Oh, I loved her. I loved her hands down. Great heroine. I loved her.
Yeah. And just like I said, the premise of this book. So if, for those of you who have read the book, that the Psy have undergone this process. It's called silence. And they figure in their society that if they're not governed by their emotions, they can make better decisions. And it's just something that is, a scientific, revelation that worked very well for their society, quote unquote, that they say. And I think, I don't know what the exact year is, but I know it's past 2079, because in the prologue, it says like it all started in 1969 and then it's gone through the years. And then it said something like in 2079, in the generations since then, silence has worked very well for the Psy without, feeling emotion and just being like, they're really, the trademark is just they're cool, level-headed. You can't really rile them. And so one of the things that I thought was really cute and playful is Lucas would always try to play with her and rile her up. And I just thought that was really, really funny.
Okay, if you hear any barking, Max is trying to bury a bone into my, I don't know, he's like trying to bury a bone in my pillows over there on the cushions. So if you hear any noise, it's the dog.
That's so cute.
I apologize. And I was like just reposting people. I was like, and we are live. Like a little reminder to people who, still might want to join in. That was a very great summary, because I think the other thing is too, I noticed this, and this is like, I think I give her writing credit here. I think it's really important when you do futuristic to not put it too far in the future, but you have to make it kind of grounded. Like this is what they did with, the Terminator, way back when in the 80s, it was, I think it was 2010 or 2030 or something. Like you put it far enough in the future where it's still within your mind's eye, where it's, not too far off. You can still sort of contemplate and, understand and reach it. So I think I give her writing credit for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like it's not so far in the future where everything is still plausible, and you still have kind of things that you have around today. Like they have phones and they have like devices like kind of like iPads, and they have that technology where you can reference from, but it's like a little bit more high tech. So I give her props for that too.
I mean, yeah, I liked that because this is going to sound very techy, but I was thinking of like the Memex and the early 1900s when they were talking about they were alluding to internet. So I mean, I think she kind of grounded it in a sort of historical internet age type of way. So again, this is my little internet. I all those master's classes coming back at me. I'm a tech person. So I mean, I think she grounded it within like internet history very well, and the way she referenced net and nodes, I knew she knew what she was talking about. I knew, I knew she had done her research. I knew she was giving people context. I appreciated the way she kind of, because even when she, and again, like told you in a moment, spoiler, when she does mentally link with her mate and she's talking about the nodes and the webbing, I can picture it. She was able to give you the kind of context that you need, because I think everyone can kind of understand the internet and how it works and stuff. So, she's doing it futuristically, but at the same time, you in the present day, you get it.
Right. Right. And I love that concept of, not just the link with the pack, but also like the sign net, like everything is connected, like, and you can see it as like a spider web or lights. They were comparing it. There was one scene where Sascha was talking with her mother, and they're looking out over the city and they see lights. And she asked, like, what does this remind you of? And Sascha says, the sign net. And they're talking about the lights of the city, like there are bright lights, like they're the powerful side. They give off like so much like energy and psychic energy that you can see their light like bright. There's the kind of dimmer lights. There, like she said, there are dead lights. There. So in that kind of network, you can totally picture it, like you said, in your brain when they're talking about it. So it's not something like as like a foreign concept that you can't really grasp. And she painted the picture very well when she was describing it.
I mean, so I love her writing. This is what made me think of this, talking about her writing. My favorite scene had nothing to do with the romance and nothing to do with the plot. My favorite scene was between the cubs and are we pronouncing this Sascha? Are we going with Sascha?
Yes.
I love the cubs. They're so cute. They're the children. They can turn into their little animal forms. They're adorable. I want one to like just pick up and cuddle. They're so cute. And so they're nibbling on her boot, and she doesn't want them to get in trouble. So telepathically, she goes, "Baby, you have to let go." And I love how she says "baby." She actually says "baby." I've read this multiple times to make sure she actually said "baby." She goes, "Baby, you have to let go now if you don't want to get in trouble." And she just connects with the cub, and then he lets go of her boot, and she walks away. And later when she comes back, the husband's going, "Her boot looks like mine," because the kids did that to his shoes as well. I just love those details. I love that entire scene. I love how it comes back around, how she was able to connect with them because she's able to connect on an emotional level, and kids are emotional. I love that scene with the kids though, because it's so cute. Like they're chewing on her boot, like because I could picture it, and I just thought it was so sweet and adorable. I just wanted to, pat their little fluffy heads.
That is my favorite scene when they go to Tamsin's house and they have lunch and they meet the little cubs, like you said, they're like the little baby, little babies, and they're chewing on her boot. And like she does say, like, "Baby, you have to let go. You don't want to get in trouble." And I just thought that was so cute. And he immediately listened. He let go. And then it goes to his perspective for a little bit. He was like, "I'm glad that, she didn't tell on me because I'm not supposed to be chewing on boots anymore. I'm a big boy." I'm like,
I love that too. So this was something I had to get used to with the book, was the way the perspectives changed. So this was, I think, why it took me a little bit longer to get into this book, and not in a bad way, but I had to get used to that because my typical read usually is his chapter, her chapter type of point of views, where they alternate chapters, not within the chapter, like not within scenes themselves. So the switching back and forth I had to get used to. But I love that moment. And I think because I was used to it by that point, when that came into play, I think I was able to appreciate it so much more because you got his point of view just randomly for that one moment, but it was just so epic.
Yeah, it was kind of difficult for me too. And I'm just like, oh, we're talking, oh, it's his point of view now. Oh, it's hers. It's not like you said, it wasn't like chapter by chapter. Or sometimes when, if it's within a chapter and the author changed perspectives, there's usually kind of like a big break. There's not necessarily a paragraph break, but the whatever break. I don't know.
Again, my work in progress, I put like a little star, I center it in the middle so you know when the change is occurring. And even then, I usually, like for me personally, I don't go back after I've done that little insert. So, it was just something I had to get used to, but that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a negative, it's just a different writing style.
Right. Absolutely. But yeah, you definitely, you get used to it. And I loved it, especially with the babies. I loved it so much.
This was one of those, I was trying to figure out why this wasn't a TV series or movie series yet, in a way, because they're adapting everything. And this is such because I was on Goodreads and there's so many people reviewing this book and so many people talking about the series, and generally speaking, I was going, well, how has this not been adapted? And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that it involves a lot of like inner monologues almost. Maybe that's the hiccup of trying to translate the emotions to, an action sequence type of situations where you have to act it out instead of just mentally, going through it dialogue wise. But I feel like that this is going to get its own adaptation eventually.
I totally think it should. And you're totally right about like a lot of communication is done telepathically, because the Psy, they have the link. And so I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the Host, adaptation, by Stephanie Meyer, and they have that sort of, internal like mind to mind monologue as well. And I don't know, did you think it worked? Did you not like it? Because my friend, meanwhile, it didn't bother me. I actually enjoyed the movie. My friend, she hated it. She couldn't stand how they did like her talking to herself basically in her head. So I just don't know how that would work, if they would kind of do the similar things and how that would portray onto screen.
I mean, to just kind of debate that point, I mean, they only made one movie for that entire franchise. So something didn't pan out. I mean, honestly, though, I don't want to butcher her name. I know she's famous at this point, but what's her name? Sorianne Rosen there. She's an Academy.
Ronan?
Yeah, she's been nominated 2 or 3 times now. So, I mean, I think the fact they had her in that role is also a big factor for trying to make it work. I don't know if another actress who's newer on the scene could have portrayed that as well. But I think that's just kind of going to be, if they do adapt it. That was just something I kept thinking, because there is a lot of inner monologue for both of them. Even though Lucas is a changeling, he's able to shift into his animal form, and he's not a Psy with the telekinetic energy and the net. He has a lot of inner monologue because this is how I was interpreting it. He's the alpha, so he doesn't want to tell his pack how he's feeling necessarily until he's already aware and has his point of view firmly grasped. He's not going to tell them something half-baked almost. So he himself is undergoing a lot of inner monologue of, oh, I'm attracted to her. I don't know what to do about this. So, oh, she's a Psy, but she's also this. So he has a lot of inner monologues and dialogues going on as well. So it's just a lot of internal, I think, conflict and overcoming that. So, maybe they will do something like The Host if they adapt it and have them talk to themselves, or they're going to have to do something if they figure that out. I mean, this might be why it hasn't been adapted yet, but I think it's going to come. It's coming.
And I totally think it should. I mean, especially with the kind of futuristic world and how, CG has come about, and I feel like they would be able to pull it off well, and if it was, I would prefer it to be a TV show adaptation instead of a film.
Oh, it's in the books in this series.
Yeah, and I feel like with most things, I would prefer it to be TV shows, just because you have a greater, you can tell a bigger story. Take it for example, HBO. If you have one season being 10 or 12 episodes. Hi, Max. Rather than a movie only being 2 hours. So I feel like you can tell more of the story as a TV show adaptation rather than a movie, which, I like. Totally can be on Starz, HBO, things like that.
I also kind of dovetailing off of that point, I think it would also have to be a TV show or something, because one of the reasons why I think this book does so well, especially with such a large audience and on Goodreads and getting reviews and stuff, is the fact that it not only has the love narrative, but it also has secondary subplots going on as well, because we have the mystery of who's killing the changeling girls. There's a lot to unpack within the novel itself, because you're not just following one. I mean, yes, there is one overarching love narrative, but there's also other plots within the one novel as well. So it's not a matter of simply following just one thread. There are multiple threads that you have to kind of look at and follow, and who's killing the girls, what's going on with the other changelings, oh, what's going on with her mother, is she going to get this business deal? I mean, there's just so much that's written in the novel. I mean, I had this moment where I was going, oh, I'm only at the 45% mark.
And so much has happened.
Really, exactly. I mean, because they have the dream sequences. I mean, there's a lot in this book. I don't think it would translate to a 2-hour movie. I just don't think that's possible.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
And I was digging. I don't know. I don't know if y'all can hear him.
Write the show for it and just send it off. It's fine. But yeah, I completely agree. The dream sequences I just loved. I just thought that was a really great way to kind of, for her to express herself without getting caught through the Psy-net, because she was in danger of feeling, for the Psy, if you start to show emotion, or if they find that you basically are flawed, that's what they think. If you feel any kind of emotion, you are flawed, and they will send you to this rehabilitation center, which is, code for lobotomizing you and sending you off to do mundane jobs like sweep the floor or, you know, sort mail, something that, you know, or just, you know, put you in a padded room. So that's basically, you know, if she's terrified, if she can't get this under control and build that wall of ice around herself, she's going to die. And of course she doesn't want to die. And you know, she just met, you know, Lucas, which, you know, he's introducing feelings and, you know, emotions that she probably doesn't feel like she can handle or she's ready for, because she's already fighting the emotions that she's already naturally feeling. And then she meets, you know, the love of her life, and, you know, she's already, and just more emotions compacted on top of that. So I love the dream sequences. It was, you know, a way for them to kind of get to know each other a little bit better. I love how, you know, she thought it was just her dream and how they connected psychically and he got into the dream, and I just love that. And yeah, it made me I had this big grin on my face the entire time.
I mean, I thought it was, you know, a very clever way as well, because you have this character who can't be herself in the everyday world. So, you know, mentally she can be herself, but externally it's, you know, she has to project a certain image. And so I love that, you know, her mind was a safe place and then he was in her safe place. I thought that, you know, spoke to their connection. I loved it. But I mean, you kind of mentioned it before, but her name, Lauren Oliver book, Equilibrium, then you have the movie Equals with Kristen Stewart. And when I was reading this series came out before it, I believe. I Googled it after the fact. I had read Purity by Evangeline Anderson. I don't know if you've read that as well. So the lack of emotions, or, you know, trying to have a society that, you know, won't allow emotions is not a new concept, but I like how it was different in this series. It was executed differently. Like, it's not a new idea, but the way she executed it was different, and that made it, you know, an enjoyable read.
I kind of want to read more things that like have this kind of premise where they're, you know, they're like getting rid of like the emotions. It's kind of like just opened me up, and I was like, I want to read more of this kind of genre.
I forget why I read it. I know there was a reason, because it's not the type of book I would naturally gravitate towards. But Purity by Evangeline Anderson, the whole concept is that her name is a letter. I think her name is K, like the letter K. So everyone had a letter from the alphabet as their name. So, you know, A, B, C, D, you just go down the list. And then only, I think, 11 made it to maturity. So in that series, or in that book, I mean, the first one in the series, Purity, she was raised in this culture where you have to not feel emotions, and the more and the less emotional you can be, the blacker your eyes get, and the goal is to have fully black eyes. That is the goal, that is the dream. And then the more emotions you feel, the less black in your eyes. So every time she would lose black, she would be getting angry, and she'd lose more black in the eyes. And so I forget his name off the top of my head, but you know, she was going through sensory deprivation because they weren't allowed to touch any, you know, no senses, nothing. Like, you couldn't hug. I mean, just nothing. So for sense deprivation, of course, the hero, you know, he was the person she bonded with, so we had to pick her up and hug her to try and alleviate that. And so I just kind of kept thinking in that book, because again, like, it's not again, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I've read other books and seen other movies where they talk about emotions and how you're not supposed to have them. So that idea has been in existence. But the way she made it different with the Psy and the net and everything else, and then adding the Changeling, you know, it made it a different read. So, I mean, even if there are things with a similar premise, they're different. It's not the same.
Right. Yeah. Totally get what you're saying.
Oh, no, I mean, I give her credit. I mean, she made her own world, and it's been going on for, I don't know how many books. What is it, 16, 18? I don't know how many.
Let's find out. Yeah, definitely. It has been, you know, going on for a while, which, you know, I don't even have to, you know, type out the entire title. It's like, it's like slave to sensation. So yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
Well, because I mean, she integrated, again, I love shifters. So I had my shifters, but then you had futuristic elements, and then you had the, you know, kind of the dystopian society. I mean, she integrated quite a few different narratives for this. I mean, she really did she was able to really make this work and made a difference. I mean, you got to give Nalini Singh some credit there.
Right. And that's what I was also thinking, like, when you said, you know, there's so many different, you know, plots going on. this book has so much, for everybody. It has the romance narrative, it has the paranormal aspect. So if you really like shifters, they have that going for you. There's a lot of action and adventure. There's drama. There's intrigue. So it's like no matter what you're really looking for, really this book has a lot to offer you. And I feel like that's why it does so well, just in itself.
I'm doing my little nodding, going, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nodding along. I want my little Christina Aguilera gif where she's doing that amen for each moment.
Girl, preach. Yeah, so I guess the 17th book, Ocean Light, just came out in June of this year. So yeah, it's still going strong. I love series that goes on forever. I also like if I'm not like caught up in reading it as they're coming out, it's kind of daunting to just sit down and read like an entire series like that. Like a couple of years ago, I had a goal to read the entire Dark Hunter series by Sherilyn Kenyon, and they're at like 38 like right now. So it's like,
I say like they need a Blake Vampire Hunter ones.
like starting at the very beginning when all of these books are already out, it can seem kind of daunting, but like once you get into the story, really these books just kind of fly by. I mean, this first book, like it's not really, it's not like a tome. It's not like 800 pages. Ooh, it dropped on me.
You okay? No paper cuts.
No paper cuts. Got it. But yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it even more the second time around, because I noticed like when you read stuff a second time, if you reread, you catch a lot of things that you might not have picked up the first time, which I like. I loved all of your quotes that you were tweeting, by the way. You are the Twitter social media queen. I love it so much. And seriously, there's multiple times where as I was thinking about tweeting, not exactly that quote, but something very similar, you tweeted it, and I'm just like, you're in my brain.
I mean, I feel as if I'm just singing her praises tonight, but it's so true because she has the world, she has the characters, but she's also an incredibly talented writer. I mean, one of the lines I picked, it was as if a thin wire connected them, vibrating within their unacknowledged awareness of each other. I mean, heart melt. I mean, there were so many different quotes to pull for Twitter. I kind of had to hold myself back, like, no, can't tweet us. Don't want to flood everyone's Twitter timeline too much.
You're like, you don't want to tweet the whole book, but I really do.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
You're like, you don't want to tweet the whole book, but really you do.
No, I mean, there's just so many good one-liners. I mean, because he has his inner monologue and he has some sassy one-liners. I know he's a guy, but I think he's a little sassy, sarcastic there. That's just how I'm categorizing him in my head. But I mean, he has some good one-liners. She has some witty banter. I mean, there's just so many good lines to potentially tweet. I was having so much fun because I emailed them to myself, and when I was copying and pasting them into Twitter, I was going, oh, this one's a good one. This one's a good one. And then I think it was on your Twitter, she liked your tweet. There was a fangirl epic moment going on today.
Yes. She not only liked it, she retweeted it. I'm like, yes, I was totally fangirling Nalini Singh. Whenever I, am talking about the book that we're talking about for Romantics at Heart, I just, something positive. I just tag the author in it just because, people are enjoying your book. Thank you so much for writing it. People are enjoying it. I know, as a writer that would, bring a smile to my face. People are enjoying my work. So I just figured even if she never said anything or never liked any of them, she would see it and be like, oh, people are really enjoying it. So she retweeted one of my tweets, and I fangirled so hard. I was like, oh my gosh, she retweeted my tweet. I loved it.
It is epic, and I'm so happy and proud of you.
I was just scrolling through my notifications, and I saw Nalini Singh. I was like, whoa, what? Hold the phone. What has she done? Yeah, I really, really, really love it when that happens.
That's so cool. When I originally posted my tweet asking for interviewees, I lost track of who retweeted, and one of the girls during the interview said, oh, well, I only follow Nalini Singh, and she's the only author I follow on Twitter, and she retweeted you. I'm going, wait, Nalini Singh? There's this moment, because she's so impactful. I mean, this is her series. I mean, she's one of those writing goddesses. You kind of have to bow down to her a little bit. So, I mean, I'm so proud of you that she retweeted you, because that's so cool, though. I love that.
I know. I feel like, just romance authors in general, they're just, especially, you know, with this series that is so like known and so loved, and you know, like you said, she is like a goddess in her genre. So definitely there was some major fangirling moments at my desk. You know, I'm trying not to squeal too loud because I don't want to interrupt the entire office, but you know, I'm just like,
No, I mean, I was fangirling for you as soon as because she sent me the screenshot showing the notification. I'm going, oh, I have to go check this out. And sure enough, she has all these likes going on because people are going, wait a second, I like this tweet too. And then people were commenting. It was epic. I loved it. It was just so great.
I loved it. It was awesome. Lady Gizmo, congrats, Nicole. That was awesome. Happy for you. Thank you so much. It was just, it's really fun. Just when authors interact with their fans and their reader base, you know, it kind of shows like that little extra, like that they care. And I just, you know, I really, really enjoy that.
I mean, I think romance authors in general are probably the best at it because they not only, because they engage more. There's this sort of, they'll retweet you, they'll comment back and forth a little bit. There's something about Romancelandia that lends itself really well to Twitter.
Absolutely. I love it. And I love that hashtag Romancelandia. I love it. I've been using it like all the time.
I love it. I mean, I also, so again, this is my own little, I also kind of, you know, little going back to the book. I love how there's diversity in this as well. So I wanted to also just kind of mention that. I kind of keyed that as well. And so I know that goes on within the series as, you know, there are other characters who become main characters, diversity level wise. But I mean, I liked that. I liked how, again, there was different storylines. There was different, you know, there was diversity. I just loved it. It was so great.
It had like so many like things that will just hook you, you know, like if you like this, it has, you know, it has it, you know, like you said, the diversity, it has, you know.
I just thought of that because of Romancelandia. They were talking about Avon is now sponsoring diversity within their publishing house. They're trying to, I don't want to say make amends, but they're trying to, you know, be more conscientious and aware and educate and be more mindful with the books that they're putting out. And so I appreciated the fact that she was, you know, giving a background of a character who's not entirely white. She had, you know, non-white characters. I mean, it was fun. I loved it. I kind of actually liked how she addressed it. So she had, I can't think of the woman's name off the top of my head. So there was another, she was a leopard, I believe, or jaguar or something. So there was one in the office and she was looking at her and she's going, well, if you don't like me because of the color of my skin, she's going, no, it's not that. If you're confident in your job, that's amazing. You know, I keep you around. She had no problem. She was not racist whatsoever. The thing was she could sense she was a different type of animal. And so she was able, so she integrated that into the scene in a very smart way, which I really enjoyed reading. And I'm going, go you, Nalini Singh, go you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's just, you know, she's like, I don't think, you know, or she said something like, if you don't think I can do my job because I'm like a darker shade of brown. And then Sascha just comes right back at her. She was just like, I'm also a darker shade of brown. You know,
yeah, she like rolls up her sleeve to show her. I thought, that, you know, and then the woman's like, well, why are you staring at me then?
It's like, you're not a leopard.
Like, you smell different than the rest. She's like, you look, there's something about you that's different. And she's like, well, yeah, I am I'm a cousin of, I'm a leopard. You know, she was a different animal, changeling wise. But I thought the way she made that, what was she?
She said like wildcat. She's like, oh, I'm like a cousin. I'm a wildcat. I was just like, aren't leopards wildcats? But then I was just like, then I just like had wildcat like stuck in my head.
But I mean, this is the reason why I mentioned this is because this book came out, I believe, in 2006, 2007. So she's been doing, you know, diversity in her romance novels for a long time. So, I mean, again, got to give this woman credit. I'm singing her praises tonight, apparently nonstop. I mean, I really appreciated that she did that in that scene. And again, she did it before now, I mean, people are more aware of it. And it's coming into, you know, like people are trying to be more conscientious and it's amazing. But she was doing this a while ago. So, I mean, again, Nalini Singh, bow down to the goddess.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Wanted to find it. So is there something else? I mean, has anyone in the comments, I know people are kind of coming in and out. I see the numbers fluctuating. So any thoughts, comments, you know, things about the setting, any questions about the characters, any thoughts in the comments?
Yes, we'd like to hear all of your opinions. Is there a scene that you thought was like your favorite? Is there a particular quote that you really liked or really spoke to you? And I just wanted to mention, Angela, April did text me. She was like, she said she wasn't able to make the live stream tonight because she wasn't able to read the book. Unfortunately, she had surgery. So she just wanted to make sure that, she's here in spirit. Yeah, she's been having a kind of a really rough time. She had surgery on her liver, I think. So.
Oh, wow. The poor thing.
Like, I still wanted to be here, but so she texted me and she made sure to say hi to everybody. So hi from April. She's been with us for a couple of the previous meetings. She this is her first kind of dive into the romance genre, and she's having a really great time. And she just wants to make sure that everyone knows that she's missing tonight, but she misses all of us, and she wishes she could be here. So.
Oh, I hope she gets well soon. The poor thing.
Yeah. So, and just another, I just have, I have a few quotes that I thought were.
Oh yeah, I was like, let's pull up the quotes.
Let's just pull up the Twitter.
Oh yeah, well no, I was having a field day with this book. Again, I'm singing her praises tonight.
I loved it so much. I loved it.
I know. Go with your quote. I want to know your quote.
Oh, okay. So the first one, it's seriously like page 10. It was like very soon into the book. It's from Lucas. We first meet Lucas, and it's from his perspective. It said, both man and beast found Sascha Duncan captivating in a way that neither could understand. Part of him wanted to stroke her, ... and part of him wanted to bite. And I loved that. I retweeted
that, didn't I?
Yes, you did. I just loved that. It was kind of like, yes, they are one and the same. Him and the Panther. They are like one being. And he even said, it's like, yeah, we're one. I'm a man and I'm a Panther. We're the same. But it was also, they were kind of like two separate characters almost, because when they first meet, I think you tweeted how the Panther wanted to like get out. He was like, there's something about Sascha that made him, the Panther, want to he was like pawing at the air and trying to like get at her energy. And I just thought that was, the Panther was kind of, a separate character. And I just love that.
That's something I really enjoy about shifter stories. Again, I love shifter stories, so I'm always reading them. They're my catnip, pun intended. I love the shifter stories. I love them. And so that's something that I see a lot, where they have their animal side and their human side, and the two kind of, they live in the same body, but they're different. And so they always say, oh, my wolf, or, oh, my, there was one where like his inner panther was always clawing at him. He used to say he was clawing at him from the inside out. I like that. And I like how she did that in the series as well. It was kind of funny to me reading that, because it was almost as if his animal recognized her as the mate before he did. And so, yeah. Because the animal can't talk and, declare its intentions and express himself eloquently, he could not exactly say that.
Right. He can't like hit him upside the head and say, hey, that's your woman. No, he has to go through like his animalistic instincts, where like, I'm trying to tell you something and you're not really listening. But that's kind of the fun, it's getting the animal side of it.
Because, once he started to realize he was attracted to her, this is a kind of a random aside, but there's a scene where she's staying over their safe house. And so one of the Wolfpack members gives her a shirt and says, this is the only scent that will pacify him. And so later in the next chapter, we find out it's his shirt, because only his scent on her is permissible, because he's, like, he doesn't want anyone else's scent on her. He won't let anyone else, he's very possessive. We can talk about that if you want, like how possessive is too possessive, how dominant is allowed. But it was funny. She said scent, like he couldn't have anyone else's scent on her, because she is the mate. Therefore, his scent is the only one that is allowed to linger on her in that way.
Right. And I love that too. You want to talk about one of your quotes?
Well, so this kind of goes with, I like the pack mentality. Again, like one little nitpicky thing, I thought it was very strange how, you kiss people in your pack, who not.
Yeah. But yes, I agree.
But I didn't like that part of the pack, but I love the pack mentality and how they're there for him as the alpha. And so this is a random pull quote, but it says, she was their alpha's chosen mate. and they weren't going to give her the chance to slip away. Like they were gonna be there for her because she was there for him. You know, it was one of those, their love for him transferred automatically to her, and they were gonna protect her, and they were gonna try and ensure his happiness with trying to keep her around. I like how the pack was, you know, this stabilizing factor in the story, and they were, you know, again, with these, they're gonna get their own stories later, so we're getting introduced to them now. We're getting to learn what they think, you know, how they think, how they interact, and so I just appreciated the fact that they were there for her because of him, but they were also there for her as well because they knew she needed to be there for his happiness and vice versa. I like the pack mentality.
I do too. I really like the pack mentality, but like you said, the skin privileges within the pack, you know, how they were, you know, they solidify their bond. You know, Lucas, he is even Tamsin said that he's a little bit more, you know, friendly with the female members of his pack. You know, he would like caress their face or give them kisses, you know, not like cheek kisses, but like lip kisses. I mean, they weren't. Yeah, so I was just like,
that was when I had a moment of pause. I had to go back and reread that line going, where did he kiss her? Huh?
On the lips. He kissed her on the lips.
And then a couple chapters later, I'm going, okay, so that wasn't a misprint.
No, it wasn't. But so I like the when they gave it the term like skin privileges. Like they have privileges with each other because they are pack. And you know, as soon as they adopted her into the pack as well, the skin privileges kind of, you know, went to her as well. And even some of the male pack mates were a little bit, you know, touchy-feely with Sascha there for a little bit towards the end when they, you know, when she was like, okay, this is my alpha's mate. She's pack now. You know, and even they said, you know, she was kind of like kind of confused about how they were treating her, and you know, their only explanation were like, your pack. That's, you know, that's it. You know, that's literally the only explanation that they needed, your pack. And so, but yeah, it was kind of like the other woman like syndrome was like lurking in the background. Where I was just like, you can't be kissing other women with your mate there. So
I mean, if you guys have been watching these live streams and you guys have been watching my channel or heard me talk, you know I am not a fan when the other woman drama comes into play. That is not my thing. And so my antenna automatically goes up. My star rating is then being, you know, pulled into question. It just affects my read. That is one of those hiccup moments in romance novels where I'm going, oh, I might not get past this. And so, I mean, in a way, and, you know, again, it resonated with me enough for me to mention it. You know, I mean, clearly it stayed with me, but it didn't, you know, impact my, you know, I'm not giving this a negative star rating or anything like that. It wasn't one of those type of situations where, oh, I cannot overcome. I think the way she offset it, saying they had under the skin privileges as well, because of the mental connection, and they were so much more because they were mated. I think she offset it well. But if she hadn't done that, I would probably be more upset.
Right. Like they're the skin privileges between the mates were a little bit more pronounced. Like if they weren't, like, okay, so skin privileges between the whole pack it's like between mates is not really special, but she didn't do it like that. She made, you know, under the skin privileges with between mates, you know, as a priority, I guess you could say. Then the rest of the skin privileges with the pack. So.
Hi, Charlotte. Charlotte just tuned in, and you love the book 5 stars.
Yay! Hi, Charlotte. I'm so excited.
I love that you love the book. That makes me so happy.
Charlotte, do you have any favorite quotes, favorite scenes, anything in particular that you want to talk about? And anybody else that's watching, please comment away. One thing that I did tweet that I just thought was really cute, I think it was after the first dream sequence where they're meeting like in person, like face to face for the first time, and she can't really look at him. And he goes, "You look like you didn't sleep well." And I was just like, you cheeky, like son of a gun. You know, I just thought that was so cute. And I did like the Ryan Gosling laughing, like the gif. So I just thought that was really cute. I really loved it. And he plays with her. He like pushes her, you know, he's like, I know you're teasing me. I don't want to call you out on it, but I know you're teasing me.
Yeah, you know, that's why I said earlier, I think he has this sarcastic, sassy way about him.
Yeah.
He definitely has these one-liners where you kind of have to do a double take, or you're kind of curious how she's going to react, because he does try and push her buttons because he knows he's getting to her as well. He's just trying to see what's going to make her crack, almost, because he knows she has emotions. And I mean, he realizes that she's different. I mean, there's all sorts of signs where she picks up on these little nuances of changeling culture that other, Psy would not pick up on. And so he knows there's something going on. And then when he has those one-liners coming back at her, he wants to see, what is different? What's going to be the tipping factor? Plus, I mean, he's flirting with her like crazy throughout the entire book.
And she even, like, in her, like, internal monologue, she knows, like, she's like, I know he's, like, sexually flirting with me, but I can't rise to the bait. And I just thought that's just so cute. I just giggle.
I mean, yeah, there was one moment, I forget, when she actually did have a comeback for him, and he went, shit, he had this kind of, wait, huh? Like she actually took the bait.
Right. I like this one scene. I forget who they were talking to, but it was, she had, like, one of her, like, telekinesis conference calls, like, while she was in the bathroom. So she was in there for a while, and she comes out and, she's like, sorry, I was in a conference call.
He's like, what was the conference call?
And he was like, that's a weird, like, one of the kids, not a kid, but, he's, like, newly, out of juvenile stage. He was like, that's a weird place for a conference call. And she's like, it even said, like, she just couldn't resist. She's like, why? And so he's, like, stammering, like, oh, like, the bathroom is a weird place to have a call. I just think that was so funny.
I mean, that's the thing too. She plays with them in her own way, because she can't outrightly, have a comeback and give away the fact she's not fully Psy and she's not living up to their standards with being emotionless, or, being, emotion free. So, I mean, she plays with them in her own way, which you kind of got to give credit. Again, I'm singing her praises tonight. You got to give Nalini credit for being able to integrate that in the narrative in that way, where she's still funny and playful, and, again, the nuance, the details, which is great. And I saw we have a question. I'm like, oh, we have questions. And hi, who's joining us again? I'm trying to do the lean in. Do you want to read the questions?
Yeah, it's Jay-Z. What other characters in the story intrigued you, or are you wanting to read about? So that is the question. Great question. I apply it to everybody in the comments. Who are you looking forward to reading about if you continue the series? Which sub character kind of drew you? And oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name, but let me see if I can pick him out. Oh, and Ambi Craftseries. Hi, how are you? Haven't read the book.
I know. I have progressive, so I have to do like that weird lean in, so I have to rely on Nicole every so often to read comments if they're too far away computer screen wise. I apologize. Hi, Ambi. Hi, Daisy. I believe it was Dorian with the brother. Dorian. Am I saying that it was a Dorian or Dwayne? Or was it begin with a D?
There is Dorian. Yes.
Dorian. He was. Yeah, I was right the first time. Then I read a book. It was like her nightmare. The guy's name was Dwayne. So I don't know why 2D names right back to back. His is the one I was really intrigued by. I liked him as a character. I liked him at the end when he said it felt like she was giving him a mental hug because they were a part of the net and the chain within the pack. And so the fact that she was an empath and was able to kind of take away some of his pain, and he was grateful for it. He didn't feel as if she was intruding. The way he was with her, I really appreciated the emotional awareness, and I appreciated the fact that, again, there's certain ways men react when emotions are involved, and I like the fact that he wasn't cut off. I like the fact he didn't try and deny he was in pain or he was trying to be stoic or something. He owned the fact that he wasn't in his right place. He wasn't, centered. And the fact that he said, she was giving him a mental hug, and he liked her being there, that just made my heart melt. So I'm waiting for his story. I already marked his on my Goodreads, to be read. I already looked that up.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really liked their connection as well, because she had just met him, and they're telling her about what was happening, and he's feeling so much pain that when she leaves the office, she kind of grabs onto his pain, like telepathically, and draws it out of his body. And I just thought, like you said, he didn't think it was intrusive. He was actually really grateful for it, because that kind of grief just was really weighing on him. And he just she just made him feel better, and that really resonated. And that also was kind of like the turning point of making me think like she's a lot stronger than they basically told her that, you know, she has a lot more psychic ability than she thinks she does. And I really think that, you know, being within the Psy was really a hindrance for her. You know, she doesn't really start coming into her power and into you know, her empathy and everything until I mean, you see her in book 2. I don't want to spoil anything, but you know, and it's not until she breaks away from the Psy that she really is able to really grow in her abilities. And so I really enjoyed that.
I mean, you again, this is why we get along so well. Some of my pull quotes had to do with the fact that she is more powerful than they give her credit for. Because I love that there's a line when they're talking when he's talking with Clay. Lucas is talking with Clay. She's smart. Those eyes miss nothing. And then that's a given with Cardinals. To his surprise, Clay shook his head. None of them. Some of them are so cerebral they can barely notice anything physical. I mean, the fact that she's noticing things, she's picking up on things, and then when they're building, and she's saying, she mentions she doesn't, you know, well, the wolves want to live near the leopards, and she's very aware of how changelings might be affected emotionally, and she has all these nuances within, you know, being able to pick up on things. And so I was red flagging these, going, wait a second, I'm going to mark this, I'm going to mark that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, when you live in a society that bans emotion and that's your power, you're not going to be acknowledged the way you deserve or the way you know you should be treated.
Right, exactly. And there's that one scene that we were talking about earlier where she picks up that, you know, that girl isn't really, you know, this, you know, the same shifter, like you're a different kind of shifter. And Lucas like immediately snaps too, like she should not know that. She shouldn't be able to sense it. And so that's really like you pick up on these little things where you're like, okay, she shouldn't be able to do these things, but she is. So like she's definitely a lot stronger than the Psy give her credit for. And like I said, she's not able to express those and, you know, even tap into her potential until she leaves the Psy.
Well, I was going to say, I read a lot of books. So I pick up on patterns. And so something I had marked, I thought maybe she was trying to put up a facade and she had a continual use of her power in that regard. But Lucas knows, he says, something about Sascha gave off low-level indication of Psy power and continual use. Exactly what the heck was this Psy up to? And then there's one point when he's got his back turned to her, but yet he can still feel the power vibrating off of her at the back of his neck. He's going, she's still giving off power. And so at first I thought, does she have kind of like a force field up? Does she have some sort of protective armor, the way she's trying to keep people out of her mind, to not be aware of the fact that she is different? But then when she said later in the book, you know, her home is the only one place. I'm going, why is she giving off power? I'm confused. I need to figure out why. So I think that again, like, feeds right back into your main point over there. I mean, she's this bundle of power, but they, you know, the Psy wouldn't let her channel that. They weren't fostering it. They weren't nurturing her in any way, shape, or form. She was just all on her own, the poor little thing. No wonder she thought she was going mad.
Right. Oh my gosh. And that just broke my heart too. Just like her feeling emotion and like the feelings that she gets, you know, it comes across as like physical pain, like, you know, like her heart's pounding and racing. It feels like she's having a heart attack because she can't handle like the emotions. And there was even one time where, you know, in part of the dream sequences where she had like, she's like, stop, you know, she tells Lucas to stop and he does, bless his heart. He does stop, because stop means stop. But she's like, I can't. Consent is sexy, but she's like, I can't handle so much because it's like a pain for her, you know, just because that overload of emotion. And so I was like, yeah, no means no, stop means stop. Consent is sexy.
I mean, I have to admit, again, you're taking the words out of my mouth with one of my pull quotes over here. And you kitten or no gradient 3 in anything. And she goes, impossible, because she's been taught her entire life she's broken. She thinks there's something wrong with her. And I love the fact that he's there saying, no. You're not a gradient 3 anything. Stop thinking that. You're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. I like how he's her emotional support system. I'm saying emotional support system because she's an Eastside. You know, but I love the fact that he's trying to say, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Stop that. Let that go. You're not broken. I love how he's like, no, you're not gradient 3 in anything.
Right, right. Seriously. They just told you that because they want to like damper your power. But yeah.
I mean, going back, I mean, your consent is sexy. So, I mean, he had some moments. I mean, he didn't cross the line. And I think, again, I'm giving her credit. You know, I keep saying that over and over again. I think she's a very talented writer. But I mean, she had to have him be alpha, but she had to have him be respectful. But at the same time, he had to be, you know, he had to be dominant. But at the same time, he had to be sensitive. I mean, Lucas is walking a fine line as a character the entire book.
Right.
I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
He read her so well where he knew when to push. You know, there was one line, I think it was after like their second dream sequence where you know, they come, like she comes to him and she, you know, she's not looking very well, and he said he's like, now's the time to push her. And there were other parts of the story where he was just like, he needs to back off, otherwise she'll, you know, she's scared, you know, she'll like run away. So he like instinctually knew, like, and read her cues, and like when she said no, when she said stop, he did. And he knew exactly when to, you know, when the instinctual times where he knew to push her boundaries a little bit and she gave in a little bit is because she was ready for that emotion. So like you said, he was walking like a fine line, and he did it very well.
Well, I mean, again, dovetailing with that point, you know, he knew when to kind of grab her hand. I kind of pulled this one when she's explaining the Psy. You know, he grabs her, you know, hand, and he's, you know, he puts his hand on the base of her back because he's offering her support in a physical way. You know, just being like, I'm here for you when you're explaining this. You know, he's there for her. And I think that's, again, one of those great moments with your heroes in romance novels. He's not, you know, he's not exerting his control consistently. You know, he's letting her kind of be herself. And when she needed him, he was there. And, you know, he had to protect her because there were some of those other, you know, changelings who wanted to potentially run away with the Psy and kill all the Psy. So, I mean, he did have to protect her a few times. Not damsel in distress wise, but he did have to come to her aid a couple of times. But he was there for her, and I like that.
I do too. Like he would, like you said, like emotional support, protected her when, you know, because she, you know, she's pretty powerful, but he protected her when, you know, she needed it. And like you said, like lifted her up, you know, was there for her instinctually, and just, he demonstrated that through physical touch. Like, you're not going through this alone. I'm here for you. And I really, really loved it.
I found the quote. I tweeted this because I had to tweet this. I love this line. And if you guys, okay, just go with it. And his woman, ? And his woman, if anyone so much as bruised her, he'd destroy them.
Yes, you did do that. I loved it.
I had to tweet that one. I mean, there is a possessiveness in him, and they even use that word at one point. She says that she feels the possessiveness washing over him. When Nate, a guy who's mated, walks in the room, he's still being possessive of her. So even if the guy's mated, he was still possessive. So I mean, they use that word, but he doesn't, you know, he's not one of those, let's, you know, keep her inside, let's keep her away from everyone, let's have those red flags all over. It's not one of those situations.
Right. There was one time where they're at or she was in the spare bedroom and at Tamsin's, and she was going into the Psy-Net, and she was looking for information, and he wanted to stay, and he said, you know, it's like, if you know, feel any kind of danger, I want to be here to protect you. And she was just like, well, I'm going in there mentally, so even if, you know, if I trip wires or if I get caught, my brain will be mush before I can even say anything to you. And then he's like, so you're not going? Like, so he said that, he's like, so you're not doing it? And she was like, come on, I can get information, you know, I'll be fine, you know, I'll have like my mental shields up. And he eventually, I mean, I don't want to say he lets her go, but, you know, it's like they have a mutual understanding where, you know, like, yeah, she's done this before, this is her area of expertise, she knows what she's doing, so he trusts her to do that.
I mean, I found the other quote. So he smiled. Sascha Duncan was no longer a Psy, even if she refused to see that. Poor baby. He was going to enjoy educating her about living life as his mate.
So poor baby.
Poor baby. I mean, I think this is that whole give and tug, you know, when to push, when to hold back. Like, he knew there were things he had to teach her. He knew there were things that she had to do herself. Again, there's that, let's respect boundaries. We have to be conscientious of those. So I think she was doing this way back in 2006 when people are just making sure of that today.
Right? Seriously.
We give her an award. Give her like a good star.
All the awards to Nalini Singh. Seriously. Nerdtastic 2014. I read the book last year, but I definitely remember his sarcastic, snarky side and the banter between them. I really love the book overall. Yeah, it's just their witty comments, like back and forth. I really love wit between the two, like the couple. I really like it. It just shows their cute side, their playful side, you know, like aside from the drama and the, you know, the murder mystery that's happening, you know, and it's just a way for them to, you know, let their guards down, get closer to each other, and it's just really cute. I love it.
Oh, I mean, I think the dialogue and the banter, this is one of those reasons why I think the book is able to lend itself so well to a wide audience, is that it's not an insta love story, even though I do love those. I love those to a certain degree. You know, there has to be some realism to it. I think instant attraction. But I love how there's kind of a slow build with this almost. They have their banter, they have their dialogue, they have their inner monologues. I mean, just great. Just, you know, little stamp of approval.
I really like how it was in the middle of their third dream sequence, I believe. One of the quotes, you know, she's ready, you know, she's going to go all in, you know, with the like emotion and the touching, and, you know, because she was just ready for it. She's like, if I'm going to go down, at least I know what I died for, because at this point she's still firmly implanted in the Psy net, in the Psy, you know, culture, and she is afraid for her life. You know, if she shows any kind of emotion, they're gonna like scrub her basically. So this quote, you know, she has seen the other side. Lucas has taught her that there is, you know, a better world out there where emotion isn't bad, you know, that like how they think it is. And so she says, if I'm going to go down, at least I know what I died for. And he doesn't understand this at this point because, you know, it's kind of, I think it's like middle way a bit, page 88. And so his the quote even says his hackles rose. You know, he was just like, well, like, who do you need protection from? You know, he's like, he didn't understand her fear. And so I just thought that quote was really, even like page 88, we're not even 100 pages into this book, and Lucas has already taught her so much, and she was ready to die just to, you know, be able to feel something, you know, without, you know, retribution, without getting into trouble, and without, you know, being afraid. Oh.
Oh, I mean, I really, again, I loved her as the heroine. I really enjoyed her. You know, when she realized the murder mystery was going on, you know, who's abducting and murdering the changeling girls, and she wants to help, especially when she realizes her mother is in on it. She's going to help cover it up. You know, once they find the killer, she's going to, you know, protect him and give him other offerings to, you know, be, you know, to help him. It's kind of like Dexter, like he has this need, let's give him the people, like let's give him a target. So the mother was going to help, you know, kind of help the guy in a way, and she was disgusted with that. And so she had this moment of, I'm going to do right by this girl, I'm going to try and help save her, and she was willing to die. And so, but she was so determined not to take him with her, because she had this whole mentality of, I am going to protect him, I'm not going to let him mate me, because I want to be able to move on with this life. And the way she feels about him is so strong. And again, it's one of those self-sacrificing moments, and it's not until they make that connection when she goes, you know, his animal adores me, or, you know, she finally realizes once they make that connection. But I love the way she's willing to kind of sacrifice herself. I mean, that's a very noble, I mean, you got to give the girl credit. I mean, she was willing to die on a number of occasions for the changelings, and she was really putting herself out there. I mean, again, very early on, you realize emotion is a big part of her, because again, she's so conscientious of people, she's aware of things, you know, she's thinking about their emotional well-being, like, you know, Lucas's well-being as well, thinking, oh, can he move on? You know, how does this make thing work? Let's think about his life as well. I mean, I love her. She's such a great character. Such a great character.
Completely. I love everything you just said. Yes. Time.
I mean, when she was, she knew, he got mad, and rightfully so, because you know, she's his mate. He wants to protect her. When she was willing to drop off the net, she knew she was going to die if she dropped off the Psy net because they have to be on it to live. And so as soon as he found out that was the situation, he's going, nope, not happening. Nope.
Right.
Like, I don't support this decision.
Right. He's like, no. So Charlotte's back. She's saying, like, this book and series single-handedly brought me back into romance. I loved the dream sequences, the way Nalini manifests the fated mate situation, and Sascha is such a heart-stealing heroine. The humor, the pack banter, the special powers of the Psy, the world building blew me away. Like, literally all the things are just great, like.
I think she just summarized our entire discussion in 3 comments.
You did. Like, she did. This is really, like, this is what we're talking about. This, like, 2 sentences here. This is it. And you tweeted, Angela, that you're asking, like, who the favorite character was in the book. And it's definitely Sascha. She is my favorite character. She is great. She's a heart-stealing heroine. She's strong, so much stronger than anyone gives her, even herself. She doesn't really give herself that much credit, but she is so strong. She is so caring and considerate, even in the times where she doesn't, she's trying to not feel emotion. And it just shows that in her little nuances and the way she interacts with, yes, the cubs, but also other members of the pack. They have no reason to trust her. She has no reason to trust them, but she goes out on a limb for them every single time. She's protecting the pack and the changelings. There's even one time where, she even said that she was going to go to her mom and tell her everything, but she couldn't. Like, after, like, she went to her mom, she physically went to her mom to tell her, but as soon as she started to talk, lies just started pouring out. Everything and she could think of to protect Lucas and the other changelings. And I just thought that was, that takes a lot of strength. They have, like, a mental connection, and basically they can read minds, and they know when, things are, are going wrong. Like, oh, you're feeling something. Like, that's a very brave thing to do. And she's scared for her life. I thought that was amazing.
I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. Her soul, the self-preservation instinct was not necessarily intact. I mean, she was very self-sacrificing. And I kind of appreciated the fact she was doing it almost, closed doors. She wasn't looking for that hero moment, because I get that a lot in books where people are going, oh, I am the chosen one, therefore I am going to, lead the people. She's doing these things by herself. She's not out there in front of people giving speeches, and she's just trying to help the best way she can. And so you just remind me of when she went on the net, she was trying to ghost to get information. And so again, this was a huge risk. She had to kind of put herself in a situation where if she was caught, she knew she was going to be executed. She did not tell them that. She did not tell Lucas that. She did not tell the pack that. She didn't tell them that until she was not executed. She told them that after, when everything was okay, of, hey, what was going to happen if, you were caught? Oh yeah, they would have killed me. Wait, what? She didn't tell them.
She's like, wait, back up. What?
I know, but she's taking these risks, and she's not, she's not letting them in on it. She's not letting them worry preemptively. They can't help her. They can't affect the outcome. So why get them upset? Again, her emotional, she's very emotionally aware. She knows what should and should not be done. So giving Nalini Singh her credit, giving her the credit, the gold stars, giving her the awards.
All the awards to this woman. Fantastic. So, any last kind of things that you want to talk about? I do have to wrap this up kind of early tonight. We do have, something planned for a dinner later on. So, any last quotes you want to talk about? Any last, scenes that really touched you? Any last comments? Angela, if you want to talk about any of your last, because I know you tweeted a lot of quotes that were fantastic. I love them all.
I mean, again, I love my shifters. So I kind of, in my head, because they're shifters, it works. So again, I love it when Sascha has somehow become firmly lodged inside him. A vibrant presence in his heart of hearts where only your mate could go.
Oh. Yes. The under the skin privileges. They just made, like, their connection, like, so much stronger. I love that.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, there's so many great quotes. There's so many great moments. I mean, because again, this one, I think it was before. No, this was after. He hadn't forgiven her for even contemplating betrayal, but that didn't mean he was going to let her go. He couldn't. She was his. The idea of watching her walk away was simply not tolerable. No.
Not tolerable.
And then that was the last one. Okay.
I really loved all of like your tweets and your quotes and stuff. If you want to go to the Romantics at Heart, Twitter page, she did tweet a lot of really wonderful quotes. She is the social media goddess here, Angela. She's fantastic.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I mean, speaking of Twitter, I did make one for a certain individual for movie nights.
Yes! So, Angela, being the wonderful, wonderful best friend that she is, she made me my very own Who Picked This Movie Twitter page. So, instead of tweeting from my own page next Tuesday when we're watching The Princess Bride, I'm going to be tweeting from the new Twitter page, Who Picked This Movie, and you can definitely tweet along with us when we watch the movie. I'm using the hashtag Who Pick This Movie, and I'm definitely going to tag the Romantics at Heart Twitter page, tag me, my personal page, definitely tweet all the stuff, use all the hashtags, just watch with us, because The Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies. Honestly, I probably watch it like once a month. It's just so fantastic. It's a classic. If you haven't seen it, it's a great opportunity to. I think you said it was on HBO.
Currently, it's free via HBO. It's one of their, if you have HBO, you have access to their library. So if you go on demand under HBO, currently right now, it is one of their free movies. I saw that and I was excited because I wanted to watch it, and then you made it the movie. I'm going, okay, so I'm going to watch it anyway. I'm watching Nicole. Oh no, I love this movie. I've seen it so many times. I can quote it. I mean, so many great characters, stories, just some of those epic movies. You just gotta love it. I'm happy. I was happy you chose that one.
It's like I always think like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna pick like a new movie to watch? And then I always do. Like you either give me like inspiration, or I just think of something like, oh, I want to watch this. And so I really love that we do these movie nights. It's really really great to watch some old favorites. I really would like to get
Never Been Kissed was one of my, like, when you ever came out and said Never Been Kissed, I mean, I've seen that movie at least couple times a year since it came out. So I mean, you chose one of my all-time favorites. I love that movie.
Loved so much. So I'd also like to put in some new stuff, because I know you tweeted about Netflix releasing like their original movies, their couple of romance. I really want to watch The Kissing Booth, because I've heard a lot of people when they watch that, they thought it's super cute. So I really want to watch that. It might come up. Might.
I mean, I saw it. I did. I saw it. There's some people who love it. There's some people who just hate it. I'm just kind of going, okay. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was a movie. It was I mean, it was fine. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. I mean, I understand what Netflix is doing. They're trying to be very John Hughes-like. They're trying to bring back the rom-com. I mean, I thought it was very strange at some points. I mean, I don't want to spoiler alert anything. I mean, if you know me and you know my bugaboos, you'll know certain reasons why, like, I'm not loving it. I mean, but it was cute for the most part. I will give you that. I mean, because I read the book because it was a Wattpad, one of those books. It was one of those stories that was on Wattpad, and she got a traditional publishing contract. So I was aware of it because of that. I mean, it was a fine movie. I mean, I'll give it 3.5 stars, be generous. 3.5 out of 5. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about it where I'm like, oh, it's terrible, you should avoid it because of XYZ reason. It wasn't one of those. It just wasn't, it's not going to be in my top 10. It's just not, it didn't change my life. I mean, I thought it was better than the other one, the one with Lucy Liu and the others. I liked it more so than that movie.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, I haven't. I really wanted to go through and see all when you tweeted about it, I wanted to see all the movies that were listed, and I do want to watch it.
I am super, super excited to see the adaptation of All the Boys I Loved Before. I like the book. I like the book, so I want to see them. I want to see the adaptation.
I saw the trailer for it and I was like, oh my goodness, I love it already. I know I'm sorry, I haven't read anything by Jenny Han, but I do want to read that series because, you know, it's really hyped on BookTube. A lot of people really enjoy it. So I definitely probably should read the book before I watch it. Because I like doing that. I like reading the source material and then doing the adaptation. Lady Gizmo is saying, yay, let's pop the popcorn, funny movie. It is. There's some, you know, The Princess Bride is another one of those movies where it does have a lot going for it. It has the romance narrative. It has swashbuckling adventures. It has, you know, like the drama. And, you know, it's like kind of like a period piece. It has the fantasy aspects. It really, like, it has a lot of things going for it. And I really enjoy it. Like, witty. It's funny. Great one-liners. And Charlotte, she's just saying that she watched it with her BFF. And we texted back and forth about it last week. Total classic. This is basically like that, you know, but instead of texting, it's tweeting. So definitely, if you want to watch it again, we're doing it next week. And Charlotte says, I thought Set It Up was really cute. Perfect.
That was the name of the movie. I couldn't remember. Max is like, I am participating now. Yes, we know you're there.
Max. Hi, Max.
I mean, it was cute. I mean, again, not perfect but enjoyable. That's a very good way of phrasing it. I mean, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't awful, but it also wasn't, oh my goodness, my new favorite movie. It wasn't one of those. I mean, that's a very nice way of phrasing it. You know, it was cute, not perfect but enjoyable. I like it. I like how you're summarizing all of our main points in these concise, you know, comments. I like it.
She's like, yes, what they said, but this.
No, I mean, I like the way you said that. It's like, yes, it was cute, not perfect, but enjoyable. Yeah, I like that. Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely want to watch them all. Have you ladies read the Princess Bride book? It's crazy how many quotes are the same. I have read it. It's fantastic. I have it somewhere. I know you're looking behind.
I'm like, it's here. I just don't know where, but it's here.
Yes, it's here somewhere.
I have a small paperback edition. It's a smaller version, the William Goldman version.
Yeah.
As I know the author name. Clearly I've read it. It's somewhere here. Maybe it's in my office. I read it a long time ago, because again, that's an older book. She's got it.
Here it is. I'm like looking, I'm like, geez, and I found it. So I have this edition. Yeah, it's really great. It's the 30th anniversary edition, and I got this. I don't know how long ago, but yeah, fantastic. I love it. I have to put it back. Got it.
Get a little workout in, get a little stretching, yoga poses. You know.
Stretch it out.
I think mine's in my office. I think I know where it is in my bookcase. But yes, long time ago. I like how they adapted it, though. I have to give them credit. I mean, sometimes adaptations, you know, they can be spot on, or they can be, you know, questionable. Theirs was, you know, fantastic.
Great.
I love it. I think it also helps. He's a screenwriter himself as a writer. He thinks in kind of action ways. You know, this is what I was talking about before. Like, if you adapt something, it has to translate from the page to the screen. So the fact that he already thinks as a screenwriter, I think worked really well for the novel adapting to screen. I think, you know, him as the writer was just perfect. You know, the perfect storm of like, yes, like everything like aligned perfectly. Just throwing that.
Everything you just said. Yes, preach. Did we want to talk about what books we are recommending for next month? Maybe.
You want to do it just on Twitter to save time? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know someone has a certain dinner she has to go to. You know, wish her father birthday.
I'm like, oh yeah, dinner.
I was I mean, because I know we usually read the blurbs and everything else. I'm like, we can just do this on Twitter. I mean, we can also ask if you guys. I mean, we can ask in the comment section now because we always revise. If you have any certain subgenres or I don't know what my dog just did. If you have any genres or topics you want us to think about, if there's a trope you're looking for, if there's a certain subgenre you're hoping us, you know, hoping to see from us, you know, tweet, let us know, comment away. Like if you want to see paranormal, if you want more shifters, if you want contemporary, if you want historical, because we also need to officially declare our, not next week because next week's movie night, but the following week, we do our theme topic nights over on Nicole's channel. So if there's a certain topic you want, we were thinking of contemporary, but if there's something else you want, whether it's, you know, a topic of talking about heroines, she's dancing over there in her own little.
Like, yeah. Because we still have to decide what we're going to be talking about third Tuesday of this month. So are we going to be doing our contemporary recommendations? If there's anything else that you want to talk about, we can expand more on paranormal, because we did have our shifter night, but there is a whole lot that encompasses the paranormal or the urban fantasy subgenre of romance. So we can talk about that. We can talk about something completely different if you want to. If you just think of something and you want to talk about it and discuss it, definitely tweet the Romantics at Heart book page or our Twitter page. Tweet Angela, myself, because we want to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I mean, we also just love romances, so like it's all kind of in our alley. I mean, it's all up our alley. We read everything, we talk about everything. So I mean, whatever subgenre you're choosing, chances are we've read a few books from them.
We've read a few, we know a little bit about it, and we can tell you, you know.
I mean, honestly, like I was getting very specific in my head. I was thinking, oh, we can have a country western with a cowboy night. We can have, you know, we can have a slow burn. We can have sports romances. I mean, I have read like 1,000+ of these books for my study, and I've read a lot of romances. So I mean, whatever you want to talk about, I am game.
Yeah, we can break down the subgenres, like you said, country and western. We can do.
We can get really specific.
We can break it down.
So whatever people are looking for, just let us know.
Oh yeah, we can also talk about tropes. We can talk about, like you said, like, you know, love to hate, insta love. We know a couple of books in those genres too.
Just a few, maybe a dozen, just a couple, just a couple.
A page and a half. Alrighty, so definitely tweet us. We are going to be talking about the books that we are going to be picking for next month on Twitter. Angela, I will direct message you so you know my picks. And thank you so much for, you know, coming to the live stream and discussing Slave to Sensation. I really enjoy this book. I really enjoy Nalini Singh. I cannot wait to read more of her, and maybe another book of hers will come up. I'm not sure, in the Romantics at Heart book club. It would be awesome. But Angela, if you have any last minute things you want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. Is there something we should talk about? I don't know. I mean, I love talking about romances with everybody. I mean, it's so much fun because I think romances don't get discussed enough. I mean, it is Romance Awareness Month. I mean, you know, if you guys are posting over that on Twitter and Instagram, you know, tag me. I want to see your posts. I want romance to be featured more. I want it to get its credit. So, I mean, I'm very happy and excited to be, you know, doing this and having the conversations and being a part of this booktube community in a very fun, you know, uplifting way. It makes me so happy. And I love my Nicole. I mean, she just always makes me smile. I mean, I'm so happy I found her and, I found this community because it does put a smile on my face. I mean, just makes my day, makes me happy. I look forward to it. You know, Tuesdays, best day of the week, and you never thought I would say that when I was younger. Tuesdays, you know, it was a weird day, but like I love Tuesdays now. Just a great day. I love it.
Yeah, we need to make our shirts. You know, best way to spend a Tuesday. Hashtag Romantics at Heart book club. You know, it's awesome. It's trademarked. It's, you know, that's literally it.
I know, it makes. I know, we really do need to we really do need to, you know, put up a little banner or sign like Tuesday night. Where are you spending it? Talking about romance.
Of course, you're talking about romance. Yeah, everything that Angela just said, times infinity. I love her so much. You know, when she reached out to me to start this book club was literally the best. I love her so much. She's my best friend. We seriously have one brain, and I just love her so much. She's great. She's wonderful. She's sweet as Reese's Pieces. And
lady, oh my God.
I love you so much.
You're so sweet. You're gonna make me cry.
Don't cry. I love you.
I love you.
Lady Gizmo, good night. Thank you so much for joining us. Jay-Z, I think this is the first time I've seen you in the live stream, so thank you so much. It was your first, my first of your live streams. Awesome. Just read the rest of the comment, Nicole.
And she's awesome. Everyone should be following her on Twitter. She's the sweetest. You gotta go follow her. I'm telling you to.
Follow all the people. Follow all the people in the comments. Fantastic people. I love this community, talking about romance, our safe, positive place that we can talk and, just talk about what we love. I love it so much. Thank you to Angela for making this happen. She's a goddess.
I still can't believe you named it after me, and I was like, well, I'm gonna name movie night after you. So I mean, we really do. We're just, I'm so happy to have you in my life. Just makes, I'm so happy. You're the sweetest. I still need to send you a couple things that I got her. I still need to send her a couple things in the mail.
I'm so excited. You're so sweet. She sends me cards. She sends me books and care packages. I love you so much.
Well, I mean, so I don't know if y'all can see it, but at the top of my bookcase, she sent me the most beautiful dream catcher in the world. It is stunning. It's right up by my Harry Potter books, and guess what? She made it, everybody. She's a very talented human being. It's so awesome.
I'm like blushing like so hardcore right now. My face is on fire.
I was like, hey, look, the proof is up top. Like, it's right there. Because she you mentioned, I think, Harry Potter or something, and then I'm going, that's exactly where I put the dream catcher. I kind of got really excited, like a little kid.
Before I sent her, because I sent her this box of, I bought her a couple of books and the dream catcher and a bookmark, and before I sent it, I was low key direct messaging her on Twitter, but do you like dream catchers? like you don't know. I was real smooth, Nicole.
But I mean, so here's the thing. This is I was legit crying because she knows me. She bought me a Jane Austen book. True friend. When someone knows you and knows what you like and then buys you something specifically for it, what you love. I was crying. I was full on crying. So I did get you a couple things from RWA. So those are coming your way. I just need to go to FedEx when it's open and there's not a line out the door because right now everyone is apparently moving to DC. I don't know what's going on in DC, but FedEx has been so busy. And I'm I don't what's going on here? Because the 2 times I went there, the line was whoop. I'm okay, Nicole's not gonna get the package today. She'll get it later. So I still need to mail it out to you, but I will be mailing you something.
You're so sweet. And I saw you have your bookmark in there. I made that bookmark too.
You're very creative. I don't know how you write. I don't know how you make a dream catcher.
It was kind of difficult, but Pinterest. I tell you, that's great ideas. Charlotte was saying that it's also her first live stream. Thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. And I'm gonna follow all the people that I'm not familiar with, all your first timers. I don't think I'm following you, but I'm gonna double check and be sure because I do want to be following you if you're talking about romances. And everybody, this was a great night. Seriously, best way to spend a Tuesday. Makes my heart happy. And I love it that it's at the beginning of the week because, mostly Mondays, Tuesdays, they're kind of oh, you're going back to work, school, what have you. And it's just it's just a highlight of the week. And it happens at the beginning of the week just to, set your week off right. I love it so much.
Well, it gave me something to look forward to because, it really did. I look forward to this. I actually wrote down on my calendar, read Slave to Sensation on Monday. I actually wrote this down, legit, it's in my calendar because I was planning around because, it gives me something to look forward to and, plan and, life happens. So it's nice when you have something like this. It really is my positive place. I love it. Make it happen. And Matt's looking at me yes, it is your positive place, mommy. Give me those eyes.
He's so cute. And Max is our official mascot. He's so cute.
You have 3 fur babies, though. You have your own little fur baby mascot.
But they don't look like babies anymore. Ruger, the youngest, he just turned 10 months and he's huge. He's taller than the other ones.
I go to grab him and he runs away.
He runs off. He's bye.
I know, he's going, Mommy, I have more important things to do. I have to go hide my bone.
All right, everyone. We'll have a great night, and we'll see you next week for the live tweet watch along of Princess Bride. We start at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 Eastern Standard Time.
I know you guys keep me up at night, but I don't even mind. You know, usually I'm one of those, let's go to bed early. Let's, you know, curl up in bed with a book. I'm going, hey, no, it's 9:30. I want to talk about romances. It's so fine. I mean, you know, I'm good.
I feel so bad because the time difference. I'm just like, yeah, it's 6:30 here, but it's a 3-hour now. It's a 3-hour time difference, so it's like 9:30 for Miss Angela here. You know, because we live on the opposite side of the world.
We gotta fix someday. I gotta fix that someday.
I know. We gotta meet somewhere in the middle.
No, I mean, we really, yeah, it's gonna happen. No, I mean, seriously though, I don't mind. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stay up. I'm gonna go to Starbucks. I'm gonna get me my tea, and I'll be fine.
I'm just making a little reminder in the comments to after tonight, just to check back with the Twitter page, just to be able to vote for our next read.
And I'll probably leave it up for 5 days for voting.
Yeah, sounds perfect. You're perfect. Face. I love your face. Everyone, have a great night. Love you so much. Mwah.
Thank you so much for watching and joining us and talking about romances. And I'm so glad everyone seemed to really enjoy this month's book. I mean, it's one of those when I hadn't read the first one. I know she had and she enjoyed it. But you know, when you don't know what you're getting into, you're like, oh, I hope people enjoy the book that we're reading this month. So it makes me so happy that you did, and you know, you're joining us, spending your time with us. I mean, oh, so thankful, so happy, and I love Nicole. She is the best person. I know. I love her so much, and just so happy to be able to do this. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.